Hey everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the channel. What we have here today is part 2 of the Halo Battle for the Ark blind bags. Now, like I said, the Mega Construx bags versus the Lego bags, they all have codes written on them. They're hard to see. I don't know if you can even see it on camera, but there's like code numbers imprinted in the white plastic here. And I have the codes for all of these bags in the description of the video below. But for the purpose of the video, I didn't look at the codes. I don't know what we have in front of us, so that when I open it up, we'll all be surprised and see what we get. So, since these are a little different from the Lego blind bags, and Mega Construx is not just putting like torso together then a head on it, there's a lot of little different pieces. We're going to open all the bags up first, get our piles of stuff, and then I'll put the figures together, and then we'll take a decent look at the figures. So, let me reposition the camera. And let's start with this guy. Now, I do believe that I have a full set. I think that by looking on here, I have all of the Battle for the Ark blind bags. And as you saw in the first video, we have the Spirit of Fire, its captain, whose name I can't remember right now, and oh man, I forget what the other figure was that we had. It was the, I think it was just the standard Marine, is what we had. So, let's open these up, and we'll see what we get to start with. And we have the Grunt, one of always the most uninteresting of the characters for me in these blind bags. Like, I get that we need grunts. I understand that grunts are integral to the Halo mythology, but man, they're just so boring to me. So we have a grunt right there. Let's open this one up. We'll see what we got for this. And in this one we have the yellow Spartan. Alright, I think this is our first Spartan. Yeah, because we just got a Marine the last time. But this looks like it's going to be the yellow armored Spartan with his little... Let's see if we can focus in on this guy. With his little SMG right here. This little thing first brought out in Halo 2. They were kind of cool, especially when you could dual wield them. Set him over there. And we'll open this one up. And see what we got for our third one. Oh, the Brute. I actually don't have... Let's get the camera down on that. I actually don't have many Brutes in my collection. To be honest, I've only recently started really collecting Halo minifigures. I have some sets. I especially have some old sets, like the old Warthog set with the crashed Warthog and the two Hunters. This might be my first or second Brute that I have. So, we have all three of these guys. Just give me a minute. We'll put them all together, and then we'll take a more detailed look at them. Okay, everybody, here we go. We have all three of them put together. We have our Grunt, we have our yellow Spartan, and we have our armored Brute right here. And we're going to start with the Grunt, because quite frankly, like I said, to me, he is the most boring of the figures, so we're just going to get him out of the way. All of them, obviously, of course, come with this wedge piece right here that you can use as a stand. It's a sand-colored piece with a little bit of coloring, dark coloring in there. But this guy, there's not a whole lot to him. Let me turn the light here so we can get a better look. There we go. There's not a whole lot to him. Very drab color. His armor piece is a little loose. He comes with a needler, though, which is actually in-game one of my favorite weapons. If you know how to use a needler, they can be very devastating, especially, I think, in 2 and 3 when you could dual wield them. That was just insane. He has ball joints at the elbows, swivel at the wrist. He has no waist to speak of. He does, however, have ball joints at the hips, and he has an ankle pivot, which I had that turned all the way around. He has an ankle pivot here. And also, he has a ball joint on the head, so he can swivel his head the whole way around. Like I said before, whoop, his arms come off. Like I said before, I understand that grunts are important to the mythology of Halo. I understand that they're important to the game. They're pretty much the first thing you fight in the very first Halo. And I can't get his arm to pop back in. You have to take these arms off to get the armor piece on. There we go. But in figure form, and he has his gas mask too, right there, his face mask. But in figure form, there's just not a whole lot to look at. They're not very impressive. I get that you need them. They're great for army building, but I'd rather have more elites than these guys. So, let's fit him back on his stand. Set him down. And we will, a little front heavy too. That. And we'll take a look at the Brute next. Now you notice that the Brute popped right off of his stand. Now one of the issues that I'm having with mine, and I don't know if it's going to be with everybody, but his foot, his anti-pegs, his anti-studs underneath here for his feet, on his right foot, it fits perfectly fine. There's no problem. His left foot, however, has been molded too tight. It's too close together. It needs reamed out a little bit, that it won't fit on the studs. So I don't know if that's a common problem or if that's just mine, but this one on his left foot, you can see the plastic's a little heavier than on his right. That's just enough to make it that you can't put it on the peg right there. He has his Brute shot, which I like. In-game, I had a really hard time. I don't know if anybody else did, but in-game, I had a really hard time mastering those things once they came out. But once you do master them, you can use them to pretty devastating effect. It reminded me of the old PC Aliens vs. Predator with the Colonial Marines grenade launcher, when you could ricochet it off of walls and blow things up around corners. Once I realized that was basically the same thing, I pretty much got the hang of it. Let's take this off so that we can get a look at his torso, because he has, out of all three of these, I think this is my favorite coloring out of the three of them. This purple highlighting on his dark gray armor. Something else that I like is you can see his helmet here. Let's get it focused in here. Might be too close. Let me see. Is that better? No. There. You can see that he has detail on his armor here, and you can see his eyes underneath. But something that I like is that this is actually a helmet that you can take it off, and you get to see the Brute's face underneath. Now, there's not a whole lot, well, there is detail to it. It's finely sculpted, especially for its size, and it's the same color as his hands. But there's no real paint app to it. So, you have the option of posing him, of showing him off without the helmet on, but more than likely, I think people will be posing him with helmet on, just if nothing else because of this gorgeous paint deco that he has. He has this really beefy armor, which of course, you know, the Brutes can maintain because they're Brutes. And I do like that. I know a common complaint, and I'm on the fence about this with Mega Construx and their Brutes, is that the Brutes are too small in figure form. They're not supposed to be the same size as the Elites or the Marines. They're supposed to be a little bit bigger. I think they're supposed to be like upwards of 8 feet tall. So they're supposed to tower over humans and the Elites, hence the name Brute. But what we get, I really like what we get with their design. That's really sharp. I really like that. Let's put his Brute shot back in his hand. His hip joints are very loose too. Once again, I don't know if that's common for this figure or if that is just something for mine. And finally, we're going to take a look at the yellow Spartan Mark IV. Once again, he has his stand, and he has this really bright yellow armor. I love in Halo how you can customize your armor, especially with what you could do in games like Reach. How you could make your own Spartan almost from scratch for multiplayer, or even in Reach, how you made your Spartan became the character in game. Like, I have replayed Halo Reach so many times just because I wanted to keep changing my Spartan and showing and making different Spartans for the campaign. I like that we get all of these Mark IVs with different color pieces, with different armor types, because eventually you can just start mixing and matching pieces and create your own armored Spartan, and I really like that idea. I may actually be doing that once I get more of these guys. But on the back, he's fully armored out. On the back, we have the spine protector coming down from the backpack, from the back shield. Have that iconic looking helmet. This is very rubbery right here. It's not a hard plastic. This stuff right here is real rubbery, so there's no chance that those little pieces are going to snap off. I love the metallic luminescent green in there for the visor. It's kind of like a reverse of Master Chief, where he's yellow armor with the green visor, whereas Master Chief is green armor with the yellow visor. I think that's kind of cool. I like that swap. And as we looked at before, he has his SMG right here. Nice little figure. Always good for army building, for the Spartan army. There's not a whole lot to the armor. It's nothing that we haven't seen before, just a different paint deco. And I don't know if you can see it through the camera, but you can see like there's little like rust yellow or rust red flakes in the armor, giving it some depth and some texture. I think that's a real nice touch too, because it keeps the armor from just being washed out yellow. Because this could be a very obnoxious looking figure, but because they decoed him up a little, it's nowhere near as obnoxious as it could be. Not that it's obnoxious at all. It's actually it's a really nice fig. So there we go. That's what we got for this. Oh, almost forgot. We have our checklist here, so let's mark these off. We got the yellow Spartan, we got the Brute, and we got the Grunt. Now this was a small set. Excuse me, this was a small set, and as you can see, there's really only two figures that we have left. The blue Mark IV with the assault rifle, and the Elite with the energy sword down here, which I like that. You can never get enough energy swords. I actually have a old Mega Bloks Marvel Venom figure that I want to size up with these guys and maybe put him on the side of the Covenant and give him an energy sword. So I always like having an extra one. We'll probably be giving him that. So we only got two left before this series is done. So I hope you like these guys. I really like this Brute. Even though he has some design flaws, like with the leg or the foot that I have to remount, and there's not a whole lot of paint deco on the face, and the legs are loose, but I still really like this Brute. This guy looks really good. He's probably my favorite. Originally I thought the Spartan was going to be my favorite, but I think the Brute is definitely my favorite of this set right here. So, that's what I have. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to check out the videos coming out this month for Wonder May, where we take a look at all of the Wonder Woman toys, action figures, and Lego sets that will be coming out in preparation for the movie, which hopefully will release this year, depending on how things go. And also, we will continue the Lego Series 20 blind bags in addition to this. So, play well, everyone, and as always, thank you for watching.